when the property was bought by Bishop Sheehan, who later became Cardinal Sheehan of Baltimore, this was all farmland in this area. And the property initially consisted of a barn, a farmhouse, and a carriage house that was there. The barn was a genuine barn. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I used to go on dates to barn dances that were held in the barn, and it was called Jackson's Barn then. My name is Deacon Bill Murphy. I'm one of the deacons here at St. Gregory the Great Parish. I've served here for 40 years since 1981, but I've been part of the St. Gregory family for a lot more years than that. My family and I really go back to 1960 when the parish first began. My parents and I lived in this part of Danbury, and when St. Gregory the Great was created out of St. Joseph's Parish, my parents and I and our entire family became part of the St. Gregory family.
In trying to develop the history of the parish, someone asked me to tell you my experiences. I came to the parish in 1968. At the time, I was single and a teacher at Immaculate High School. I was so impressed with the students that came from St. Gregory's, I decided to join the parish because I thought I should support the parish should I ever get married and have children. And of course, many of you know 6 children later came along. And in the early 70s, I volunteered with 2 other couples to host the baptism classes. But the interesting thing, the baptism classes were in the smokehouse of the farm. Where the parish center is now was the original farmhouse site. And behind it, towards the church, was the smokehouse where the farmers would smoke the meat so they could be able to preserve it in the winter. And beyond that, towards the gardens as you come up the hill, was the actual barn, which was converted into the church.
Hi, I'm Mike Mizuko, a lifelong parishioner of St. Gregory the Great Parish. So I've been here a long time, and I was born probably just before the parish was formed and around the time the school was being built, which was 1964. They were building Immaculate High School at the same time, and the very first students for Immaculate were actually taught at St. Gregory's in the what is now the upper grades. And my 7 siblings all went through St. Gregory the Great School. I also went to school with our current pastor, Father Dunn. He was in my class for 8 years, and we graduated in 1978. And it was shortly after that that they tore down the old barn and constructed a new church. And the new church was constructed in the location of it was the old farmhouse, but at that time it was serving as a rectory. When the priest lost that space, they had to move into what was the convent, which was attached to the southern end of the school, and they were there for a few years. Oh, actually, no, they were there until around 2003 or 4, because in 2001 there was a capital campaign to do a new rectory and parish hall. And as everybody knows, it was right around the time of 9/11, and fundraising wasn't quite as robust as hoped, but there was enough to build the new rectory, which is just north of the school off of Tammany Trail. And when the priests moved into that, they freed up the space in the school, and the second floor was converted into a new science room. And the lower floor continued to house the parish offices. And it took 20 years until we could implement the plans to do a new parish hall. And that's the space we're in today, which is a nice addition to the campus. It allowed the business offices to get out of the school and come up here. And we're currently looking to renovate that space to house the new preschool wing of the school. And then we'll take some of the space that preschool is in and convert it to a multi-space use, much needed for the school. So that's sort of a condensed version of the history of St. Gregory the Great Parish.